Good evening, everybody. So I think it's TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. So happy to see all of you again. So before we're going to start the session today, we're going to wait for a little while, wait for some audience to join our live today. So this session is basically we just newly started. Since last week was our first episode that we are talking about once upon a time. So last week we actually touched the first story we shared about is our wayang kulit. It's a puppet, puppet shadow show that was last week. So the whole idea of this once upon a time is basically to remind us, some experiences before the COVID. Okay, before the COVID, I actually traveled into Southeast Asia, and I meet many awesome people. So I think currently the situation is not much improved yet. But anyway, we look for the vaccination, which is every country is go all the way up, to get the vaccination. So before the window can actually open, I think it's the best time also for us to prepare ourselves. And we have this series Once Upon a Time. I can share you some of my life experience stories that some country or some places I visited, and how the stories that people share to me and my own experiences, I think they will be great. They will be great that I am sharing with you. And today we actually going to touch. Last week we talked about wayang kulit. Okay, for those who just newly joined us. So welcome to Once Upon a Time series. Every Friday and 8:30 p.m. Okay, started from last week. Started from last week. So this is our second, our second episode for this Once Upon a Time. So every week we will pick up, some culture topic, and the most important thing is these are all the real experience. Okay, these are all the real experiences, and also I during my traveling before the pandemic, I met all these awesome people, and I just simply love the story they share to me, and I want to share with all of you. And I think it's a great time now at this moment, since the window can't fully open yet. So let's get to know the story. Let's hear some story, and hopefully that these stories will inspiring you too. And in the future, when the window is open, when you can travel, and then you were looking forward, to some of this destination. So last week I talked about wayang kulit, and I share some Borobudur experience in Indonesia, and also I share some what our country in Kelantan, some experiences in Kelantan from the puppet maker, and how to get this musical instrument in the traditional. So you can always watch back my previous first episode. Yeah. Okay, so currently I hope all of you just join me for tonight. You can kindly help me to share also, share to your friends, share to anybody, because tonight we are going to do a very relaxed session since it's Friday. So it's good to hear some story inspiring each of us, inspiring us. And these are the story is the true story. And normally this story is basically my personal experience when I travel to the country, So to be honest, as being a tourist guide, and also as a trainer, that I'm actually having a lot of opportunities to meet different type of people in a different country. And I think the best is these people, because their story is keep inspiring me and motivating me until today. I still don't want to give up. So currently, I know that the situation is the windows are not fully open yet, and we can't travel like what we want. So it's okay. We just get ourselves being relaxed, settling down, slow down our beat, and do spend more time with our family. And then be prepared ourselves also, when the windows is open, and we can, go into the better normal journey. rather than just keep new normal, but going to the better normal journey. Yeah. Okay, and those who just newly join us, welcome to Once Upon a Time. This is just a second episode, and hopefully, with your support, and you will help us to share to others. Then we can inspire others. Can inspiring others. Travel, it's not something just to relaxing our mind, but travel is also we can listen to many stories when you meet the people, when you meet all these awesome people, and it really make our life, not just inspiring us, but it's more on motivating. Sometimes we need, motivation. I think one of the reasons that we all enjoy, meeting new people is because we really looking forward, to have interacting, to not just like say hi, bye, but along the way we listen to their story. Yeah. So I think it's almost time, so it's already like 5 minutes past 8, and the session is not going to be too long, so we will keep the time frame between like 30 minutes to maximum 40 minutes. Yeah, that's the maximum. And the session is not going to be too long. So today I will, the topic and the story sharing that I want to share to all of you is actually batik. So currently you see my dress, okay, you see my top blouse. Maybe I can stand a little bit to show you. Yeah. So this is basically my mom's batik. My mom's batik, yeah. Okay. She if I review how many years old already, this piece of batik, indirectly I'll tell you my age also. So this is actually 45 years. This collection is 45 years. So I will stand closer to you. You can see the batik material, even the color. You need a pattern. It's quite interesting, right? Then you can see the dintik. Can you see the dot line, right? So why is it named as batik? It's because of the dintik, the dot line. So not only just the hand drawn, even you can use as a block batik, but the dintik. So this is a 45 years old, yeah. And it was worn by my mother, and now she has actually given it to me. So I'm so glad, that I can. My mom keep the piece so well, and today I can share this beautiful piece with you. And together with me, also I have these two beautiful batik. Yeah. And the reason why I want to show you these two beautiful batik as well, because this is the story I want to share to all of you. Yeah. So let's have a look, a picture that I'm going to share to all of you. Yeah, so you just saw the picture, right? So that is the family that I met from Lasem. So maybe to all of you, when you heard the name of the destination Lasem, you're probably wondering, where is this place? So Lasem is actually located in center of Java. If you want to get there, we have to travel the nearest airport. We should land it is Semarang. Okay, Semarang. So Semarang is actually also a very important trading port. Okay, a lot of big ship, they all will embark, they will actually park and do some trading there. So if I want to travel from Semarang, go to Lasem, I think it's going to take about like 3 hours. Yeah. Actually, it's not that far. It's approximately about 100 kilometers, but the traffic is quite slow, okay, in the central Java. Not like in Malaysia, we have a fantastic highway. So 100 kilometers sometimes, it just took us like 45 minutes or 1 hour, we can reach the destination. Yeah. So let's go back to this lesson. I was there, if I'm not mistaken, it way back 2017. So you can see just now in the picture, I was in the purple color polo shirt. I think we're going to play one more time the picture again, just for those who just newly joined us. Can you see the purple color one? That's me. The picture was taken in 2017. The reason why I have an opportunity to reach there because this Lasem, they have a nickname. Okay, the Indonesian usually call them a small little Tiongkok. So when we hear the pronunciation Tiongkok, it's very dialect. Okay, in the Chinese language dialect, especially Hokkien. You know, Hokkien, Teochew. In Mandarin, we say 中国. That those days, when you talk, when you mention 中国 in the dialect, you have different dialects. So they call it Tiongkok, the little Tiongkok. And the first impression when I arrived in Lasem, I was like amazed. I really think that I was arrived in Little Tiongkok because most of their entrance, it's their houses, it's like a courtyard house. So in Mandarin, we usually call the courtyard house like 四合院. So you have like your main gate as a main entrance, and they love to paint it as red color. And that's how to associate, you know, the people there. That they are very Chinese, but unfortunately, none of them they speak Chinese as well. So what happened was when I arrived there, and the welcoming me is the family. Today, of course, they don't have a Chinese name. They all have been calling themselves in Indonesian name. And when I was there, I see the whole family when I entering the house, because it's very interesting is if you've been to 四合院, actually 四合院 was quite popular ever since like from the northern of China all the way to the southern part until Yunnan, okay, during the Qing dynasty or even Ming dynasty, it already exists. And this is what we believe that, you know, the descendants there, most of them, they have 8-9 generation. Can you imagine? So we are talking about like more than, you know, 700 plus years. And I discover every house very interesting. It's not about they just making the batik. I've been brought into one open house, and that open house, even they have the underground tunnel. So really, then it reminds me those days, the opium war, you know, the opium trading, and how they do the shipment coming through the underground. And that's how you reach the home. Then they have an underground tunnel to reach. And that's how we believe that in Lasem, until today, they even have like some Kapitan house. So probably we think that Kapitan is only we can find in Malaysia, but actually throughout the Southeast Asia, especially towards the end of like 17th or 18th century, there are many Kapitan houses around, especially in Indonesia. So Java is one of it. So when I was in Lasem, and then I start looking at the pattern of the batik, now I fully understand. So can you imagine this is 45 years ago? And if you look at the pattern design, definitely it's not come from Malaysia. Because Malaysia batik design, we usually is going to do like flora, you know, or even earlier before the 60s, normally the pattern design is more on like village style. But in the earliest batik, usually you will see not only just the dot, but flora and also many kind of formation, the mixture of the geometry, flora and fauna. All you can see kind of mixture. So until today in Lasem, why the batik? Because they have a very long history on making the batik, and because of the Chinese influence. That's make the Lasem batik is very outstanding compared to the rest. Immediately you can see that is the Lasem batik. Yeah. So I suspected, okay, when my late dad, bought this piece about 40 plus years ago to my mom in Singapore. So I'm not going to be surprised that my dad could be the batik bought from Lasem. Of course, my dad doesn't know where it's Lasem, but I'm talking about the trading. Maybe the batik was trading all over. Yeah, and today you can look at this batik also. Yeah, so it's dinte and very fine detail. So they call it like tiga negeri. So tiga negeri normally it's trying to showcase. It's the detail on the 3 different patterns and how the combination of the color. Yeah. And for Lasem batik, the most interesting part is they are very famous. This is quite a traditional piece. This is empat negeri, means it's like 4 different designs. And can you see the detail? It's compared to just now. This is much more fine already, much more fine. And the famous for Lasem batik is the reddish color. So if you want to, they are very famous. Their signature that must be the red color. Okay, red color. If you found like pattern design like this so detailed, and if you have like a reddish color, that is a symbolic on the strong Chinese influence. Because if you know about batik history, batik actually throughout the whole world, there's many countries they have batik. So not necessarily only in Southeast Asia. So some it's come from the China, and also some influence from the India, and all over. Yes. And when I met this family, they just very simple. All their artworks, okay, they just do by home. They just do it at home, okay. And of course, when I have a chance to talk to them, I ask them like how long you have been producing the batik, how long your family have been doing this. They say, oh my God, we can't remember that long. Ever since it's like generation to pass down on generation. Yeah. And I asked them about like what about your signature or any collection, what about your grandparents batik, can I buy? Then they told me no way. Because to them all these piece of collection, it's a sentimental value. That's to remind them about where their roots come from, how the family business are being started. Yeah. And during this trip, into the Lasem, and besides visit them for this batik maker, actually few, I would say like in the whole villages, easily you can find every 2 to 3 houses, you can find one manufacturer already. But they're all doing very small scale. And each individual family, they have their own kind of a pattern and also their specialty. So I especially buy from this family. It's because I just like the traditional way. But of course, today they have some modern design, which is less pattern. How much do you guess on this piece? Because to many people, when they don't understand or they do not really know much about the batik and also the hard work behind, of course, you can tell me even printing machine, 10 ringgit, we can get it, right? But this piece, I bought it for almost like 600 ringgit. So I would say about 150 US dollar for this piece. Yeah. So anyone wish to buy from me? No way. Sorry. Because in this pandemic have made me realizing, it's like sometimes it's all by the opportunity, okay, the collection. And if you treasure it, maybe 50 years down the road, it could be another heritage, it could be another nice collection, for our younger generation to learn about it. Yeah. So when back to the story of this family, so I asked them, is it like, don't you feel it's like it's so much work and so much detail? Sometimes it have to costing them like for a few weeks, just by drawing and colorings, all the detail until you dry and everything, because they got no machine. Everything is by hand drawn. Okay, everything by handmade. So it might took, weeks to complete it. And your productivity is very low. So why don't you just give up? So I want to share something is sometimes in life it's not about everything. We have to value the work with money or just the amount. Sometimes it's more on the sentimental love. So to them, if they can keep their culture, they keep their heritage alive, this is something they feel like this is the best way to show the respect, to their great grandparents have been working so hard, and today the heritage is still alive. And I can feel, it's like when I visiting the house, actually very simple and a very huge place, because if you understand the Chinese courtyard house, in the center it's just empty, and then you have your side small houses at the side. So all the family sibling, they try to stay together. Try not to move out, within the compound, within the area. And I think this is a very good family values. And they try to work together as a family business and keep going. And I think from that part of the experience, also I learned about, sometimes judging, on the passion of their artwork. It's not only just like the amount that we pay. Okay, so I think the most awesome part is the love. Okay, the love is something I don't think we can just buy, or I can express, my appreciation, through just paying. And I think this is also what I miss a lot, when this whole pandemic happened. I miss is like although I don't know most of this family that along my journey that I'm meeting them, but sometimes when I look at the batik, and I will just remind myself, it's like, oh yeah, this batik remind me when I was in my last trip, and I visit this house and I went to experience the open house, and of course I taste some great food, and then I learn the spirits, and also I reminds my grandmother because when they show off their grandparent piece, and then remind us, and then I start realizing, I say, yeah. Now I remember, now I recall back, and I understood. My grandfather used to remind me, saying that sometimes when we appreciate our own culture, even like today, I wear this piece of my mom clothes, my mom batik, my mom's kebaya, and it reminds me the love my dad to my mom also. So even an old cloth, there is a story behind the love my father to my mom. So same thing as I can understand, like not just only picture, okay, but all this artwork, something object that we can hold it, and this is where the best part in our memory, and I think in our life is not just listen to a short story, just to listen someone's story, but I think the moral story behind, the moral story behind is very important. So I see some of the say hi to me. We have like three chew watching from the Philippines. Wow, okay, so great. Looking forward. Okay, maybe next time I can talk about Philippine story. I do have some nice piece artwork and some collection. Everywhere I go, every country I visit, not just about the story. I enjoy, sharing by the family. And for my best memory is I will buy a piece of art from them. Usually, I will try to do my best to support them, in the local way, to show my appreciation. That is also another great way, another great way. Okay, and I welcoming that if you have a story to share to me, and please do so. So maybe in the incoming, future plan, we can have the story sharing together, not only just by myself. Yeah. So today, the Batik story is not just bringing you back to the Lasem, which is an awesome city. I really wish that when the pandemic is over, when the window is open back, I'm really looking forward, to go back to Lasem in the central of Java. And of course, besides the Lasem story, and for the batik maker, it very impressed me also in my home country, Malaysia. I was in Kelantan. Okay, I was back to Kelantan about 2 years ago, and I'm trying to searching, some great story behind, and I found this family also, and the father is actually passing down the business back to their children. So the children is working on it. This is something, a great story I want to share is at least the parents keep encouraging, not like discourage their children to succeed, be the successor, and what happened was at least they also let the youth and let their younger generation to be practice or to show off their innovative way. And then I came to know about this Kelantan batik is interesting. They use the discharge. Discharge instead of the cloth backdrop is white, but is turn it into dark color, and that will make the wax line more outstanding. They call it the discharge method. But the interesting is when I was visit the kampung, the village, and I went to see their workshop. Impressed me is all the block batik because they are very specialized in block batik. Whereas Lasem, this one is hand drawn. Currently, you see this piece is 100% hand drawn. Okay, it's 100. This is not block batik. This is not by the mold. This is by the hand drawn. But the in Kelantan one, that one is by the block. Okay, and interesting is when I see the block, I started to learn that sometimes we look at all these old artifacts. It reminds us in the 30s, 40s, 50s, most of the pattern is based on the village lifestyle. It's by the village lifestyle. Then only it brings me back the imagination. Wow, the paddy field, the breezing, the coconut tree, and also the buffalo, how they work, once upon a time. Of course, today in Malaysia, it's very difficult, to find someone going to cultivate the paddy in buffalo. Not that common anymore. We already use machine. So I really enjoy, the word once upon a time is because of that is something we really happened before in our life. So maybe now it's not common, but it's a nice and sweet memory. Yeah. And feel free. And if you have your once upon a time, I encouraging you, don't just hiding your once upon a time. Okay, bring back your once upon a time, and all these real true story. It's really make people inspire and motivate, and at least bring you the sweet memory, right? Really create the precious moment for you, and this is how we always looking forward. That if possible. And that is also one of the reasons that today why I traveling, I always like to visit some ancient city and some heritage is because it really reminds me about once upon a time. We used to have all these glories, and it's a great way to be the best lesson in our life. Yeah. So education, learning, to travel, through story is always make us very happy. Okay. So if you have question, I welcome you. You can always type. Although this is a live, you still can connecting with me, and you still have story. If you want to have any question to ask me, you are welcome. Just to type in the chat box. Yes, yes, and don't just enjoy my listening to my voices and the story I just shared to you, but you can always keep interacting with me. Yeah. Okay. So I hope that you do enjoy tonight's session with me. A very short, like 25 to 30 minutes. I think important is not about the length of the time. Yeah. The important, I think, every story, the message behind. Every story for the message behind. Just like my last some experience, it makes me feel like I should treasure whatever heritage, even a small item at home. So I really grateful mom have passed me this kebaya and I can wear it tonight. 45 years old, batik. Okay, batik kebaya. Okay, so looking forward to see all of you again next Friday. Okay, and stay tuned with us. So next Fridays, I will choose another destination and also another story and another object to share with everyone in this once upon a time. Bye. Thank you, Frankie. Nice to meet you. Looking forward to see you again. Yeah. Thanks for interacting with me. Okay. Have a happy weekend, everybody. Okay. Oh, Pimpin is here also. Thank you, Pimpin. Once upon a time, you and I, we all have great story for sharing. Yeah. Looking forward to see you next week. Good night. Happy weekend. Bye. Thank